Next thing you know, it's been years and years pass, and you're still stuck in the same situation. For 12 years, this woman was bleeding. For 4,383 days, she was losing her life. For 105,192 hours, she was bleeding and losing energy. For 6,311,520 minutes, she felt herself dying, which results in 378,691,200 seconds and counting. This woman was dying, losing herself, losing blood, losing life, and losing energy. But one thing I found remarkable is she had been bleeding for 12 years. I don't know how many people can bleed for 12 years consecutively and not die. Which means even though she was going through this, God was keeping her. Even though she was going through this, God was walking with her. God was preserving her. Is there anybody here this morning that can testify to the fact, even though I've been going through this cycle, God has been keeping me? Even though I'm going through what I'm going through, God has been preserving me. High five your neighbor and tell him he's a keeper, he's a keeper. God has been keeping us even when we didn't feel like being kept. He has been loving us even when we didn't feel like being loved. God has been right there. My grandmama said through danger seen and unseen, God has been keeping us. He's been keeping us. So let me ask you a question. What are you going to do about your own personal cycle? What are you going to do? Well, I believe this woman gives us an example on how to break her cycle. First, she was bulletproof. Say bulletproof. When you look at Mark chapter 5, 25 through 26. What's interesting about this woman, she was what I would call bulletproof. Even though she received a diagnosis from the doctor, that did not stop her for trying to find a cure. Think about it. She heard what one doctor said. She said, all right, you can't help me, let me go to the next. You can't help me, let me go to the next. You can't help me, let me go to the next. In other words, she was not allowing anything to stop her from finding a cure. So she was bulletproof. So in other words, a bulletproof vest is designed to protect the most intimate parts of the body. So what'll happen if a bullet hits the bulletproof vest, it will bounce off. A bullet is designed to take you out. But because of the bulletproof vest, it'll bounce off. But what's remarkable about a bulletproof vest, it may stop the bullet, but the problem is the bullet will hit the bulletproof vest and there will be a sting or a scar left on your body. In other words, the bulletproof vest will stop the bullet, but yet there will be some repercussions from getting hit by the bullet. What are you saying, preacher? I'm saying that you have to be a bulletproof vest. When people talk about you, let it bounce off of you. When people do you wrong, let it bounce off of you. When people turn their back on you, let it bounce off of you. Tell somebody, be a bulletproof, bulletproof, bulletproof. And it may hurt a little bit. It may sting a little bit, but that's all right. It's lonely on the top, but you got to strive for the top and be who you are anyway. You have to be bulletproof. This woman didn't let anybody or anything stop her for 12 years. In spite of the diagnosis, she was determined to find a cure. She was not letting anything or anyone stop her in her process. She was bulletproof. Next, she had belief. Say belief. When you look at verse 27, she had heard about Jesus. Notice the text. It doesn't say she saw or she met, but it says she heard Jesus. Well, how did she hear? Obviously, people were talking about it. And they were talking about the miracles in which he did. So in other words, when she began to hear what these people were saying, the miracles that he was performing, she thought to herself, well, wait a minute. If he did it for them, I know he can do it for me. So in other words, because of what you said, I'm going to believe. Because of what you told me about Jesus, I'm going to believe. In other words, she had belief because of someone's testimony. See, your testimony ought to be so strong that you could tell somebody about the goodness of Jesus and they could come running and trying to meet this Jesus. They want to meet this Jesus in what you're talking about. They want to get to know this Jesus in what you're talking about. Tell somebody you got to have belief. Her belief was so strong that she said, if I could just touch, if I could just get in his presence. See, you got to have such strong belief in God that if nobody else believes, if you could just get in his presence, you know he could do something about your situation. She practiced Hebrews chapter 11:6, which records, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that comes to God must believe that he is, and he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. In other words, when I come to God, I have to believe that he could do something about my situation. I have to believe that he could do something. And as a result of me having belief in him, he's going to hook me up and give me what I need. High five your neighbor and say, belief. You have to have belief that this man can do it bigger than what you are going through. He can do something stronger than what you're dealing with. In other words, now unto him who is fully able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all I can ask or think. I know that he can do it because I have belief. In other words, I got to have belief in somebody that's bigger than me, stronger than me, and is greater than what I'm dealing with. Tell somebody belief.